Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make a basic keyboard controllable cat in Scratch. When you press the up arrow, the cat moves up. When you press down, the cat moves down, left, right, and so on. First, I'm going to show you the logic for this. We'll put this under an events block and loop forever a series of 4 if-then events. Those 4 if-then events are going to be if we press the up arrow on our keyboard, then the sprite will move up. If we press down, it will go down, left, and right. So I'm going to press stop so that it stops running this loop. And let's choose a new sprite. How about this horse? All right, let's temporarily hide this cat with the hide button. There we are. So let's put this out. We'll first need an events block when we press the green flag. Then whatever's underneath this block will run. And we'll do a forever loop, so it will run as long as the green flag is active. And we'll need 4 events. That'll be if we press the up arrow, if we press the down, if we press the left, and if we press the right. We'll need a sensing block to see if a keystroke is pressed. So here we are. If key space or keystroke space press, we'll want to do up. Let's duplicate this to down. Duplicate that to left, and duplicate that to right. And I think I accidentally let this run, so let's stop that. So what do we want this horse to do when we press each of these things? So for pressing the up arrow, we'll change the y-axis position of this by 10, which is already there. If we press down arrow, we'll change the y-axis position of the sprite by -10. For left, we'll want to change the x-axis by -10. And if we press the right arrow, we'll change the x-axis by +10. Let's press go and see how the sprite moves. Oh yeah, there we go. Nay! So that is the basic way that you can get sprites to move based on your arrow keys. Now the way that the last cat moved was fine, it worked, but it was also very basic. Let's try to add rotation for the cat so it looks like it's pointing in a direction that it's actually walking in. For example, when you want the cat to move left, it actually points to left. When you want the cat to move up, it points up. It gives a little bit of realism and it looks kind of cool too. First, let's look at the logic for that. So now we're going to add in some more to our previous logic chain. Some things stay the same. For example, when you click the green flag event, it will still start a loop that goes on forever. And the if-then statements are the same too. If you press an up arrow, do this. If you press down on your keyboard, do that. But now we're going to make sure that the cat points upwards before it goes up, and it points downwards before it goes down, and so forth. I want to note something. In Scratch, you can add your rotation of axis in 2 different places. One which is left to right, which allows you to flip the cat left and right horizontally. Or you can have a full rotational axis and you have your cat point in all 4 directions, like in a clockwise or counterclockwise manner. For me, I like to set the left and right motions on the horizontal, or I suppose left to right rotational axis. It looks a little bit more normal to me, because if you set the left to right motions on a full rotational axis, then I think left to right looks kind of weird. I mean, the cat's upside down. So I like to have full rotational axis on the up down, and then only left to right rotational axis for left to right. But you don't have to do that. It's just my personal, it's just how it looks normal to me. So let's hide Scratch here temporarily and work on the horse. So we have, let's show Horsey here and drag him out here. So we have the same logic from last time. Now let's apply the logic to the horse. Luckily, most everything's the same, but now for example, when we press the up arrow key, we are going to point in direction up. That's going to be 0 degrees. And we're going to set the rotational style to all around. And we're going to set the rotational style before we point direction. Let's just troubleshoot this first before we start anything crazy. So yeah, so he press up arrow, he seems to go in the up arrow direction. So that works. And now he's going to be stuck there because we haven't filled the rest of the logic. So let's do the same thing for everybody else. So if we press down, we're going to set the rotational style to all around, and we're going to have the horse point in direction downwards, which is 180 degrees. Same thing for the left arrow. We're going to set a left to right rotational style and point in direction left, which is -90. And for right arrow, same thing. We're going to, we're going to set a rotational style left to right, and we're going to point in direction 90. Yes. All right, let's see how you're doing, Horsey. All right, we're going left, we're going right, up, and down. Nice, isn't it? Nay. Now, problem with this is that it's sometimes easy to lose the cat. For example, if we go too much off screen, well, the sprite, I think Scratch hard codes so you can't really lose your sprite, but sometimes the cat sort of disappears and you have to drag the cat by its tail to go back on the stage. Maybe it would be better if we couldn't hide the cat quite so much. For example, if the cat is on the edge, don't go past the edge. I just added the if on edge, then bounce part of the code. And now you can see that no matter how many times I try to get this cat to disappear off the edge of the stage, he stays put. Let's look at the logic for this. So the logic chain will be completely the same as before. We have the green flag event and a forever loop. But now before we go into the for if-else statements, we also add if the cat is on the edge, then bounce him back. Let's add the same thing to the horse here. So let's hide our cat and show our horse. So let's try our horse before we start, and look, he's disappearing. So let's drag him back here. And we're going to add in the forever loop, but before we start the if-else statements, if on the edge, then bounce. Let's see how you're doing now, horse. All right, no matter how many times you try to get off the edge, it just bounces back. Fantastic. A common convention in gaming is that people use the WASD keys to move the characters up, down, left, and right, as well as the up, down, left, right arrow keys. So now we can add an additional input of the keyboard into our cat, so that if we press up or W, your cat goes up. If we press A or left, then it goes right. S or down, it goes down. And D or right, that goes right. You can't see me pressing keys, but I am pressing the WASD keys for this. First, let's look at the logic. So as before, we still have the green flag event and the forever loop. and the if on the edge bounce. However, now we're going to change the if-else statements and add an we're going to add an or operator. So if we press up arrow or we press the W arrow, then our cat will point upwards and go up. If we press the down arrow or we press the S key, then the cat will point downwards and go down. Same thing for left in A and right in D. So let's do that for our horse. Let's hide our cat and show our horse. Nay. All right, and our operators are going to be green. So we're going to use the or operator for this because, we want them to have a choice. So we're going to take off our key sensor and we're going to have a key up arrow. Or we can have, let's see, for up it's going to be W. So it's going to be key press space W. And go put you back there. And do the same thing for down. We're going to do an or, down arrow key, or a S. There you go. And let's just delete that. We can duplicate this since the code is going to be the same. So we're going to change this to the left arrow, and we're going to say key A. We're going to delete this block and duplicate that. But this time we're going to change to a right arrow or key D. All right, let's try this out on our horse. I am pressing the WASD key, so you can't see, but I totally am. And let's see, it works. Our horse is great. So now we have two possible modes of input for our sprites. Well, that's all the ideas for a keyboard controlled sprite that I have. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.